Hi, welcome and namaste to the Yoga Out of the Box podcast. My name is Marv. I'm a yoga teacher, and on this podcast, we try to share as many inputs as possible for practitioners as well as for beginner yoga teachers, just to get in connection, learn something new, and maybe exchange in a world where there are so many different opinions, our opinions, and try to see a bit more clear in our own vision. Today's episode will be a short wrap-up about a topic which is quite important for me. Like a lot of you guys know, I practice and teach mainly Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. The last years now, I'm really excited to deepen as well a bit into Black Lotus Yoga. But a really common topic I receive from you guys out of the community and out of like a lot of teachers I talk to all over the world is that sometimes it's quite hard to maintain your self-practice because you feel not having enough time. And especially when it comes to styles like Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga or like Black Lotus Yoga maybe, which have a set series which takes even a while to practice. People say, okay, I don't have enough time to practice this whole sequence, so why should I start? Does it make sense even to start like just for a few asanas? It's not the full thing, or even the other way around. I can't really relax into an asana if I just have not enough time. How should I manage that? And what do I do if I just have half an hour? This breaks the rhythm. Even me, I'm always saying like, just never lose twice. So just always try to keep your consistency up day by day. And if you miss out one day because of traveling, because of sickness, because of anything, try to get back on the mat as soon as possible. So the pattern is not broken and you can like rely on this underlying easy making rhythm of your mind. But this is a whole different point. So as somebody who is traveling, I guess, a lot and who is like changing a lot from places, I know this trouble. And I even know the trouble if you're like don't have enough space and you feel not in the right condition, or the aircon was too cold last night. And not everything in your life will always line up perfectly for your practice. And I think while most people see this as a bug, I consider this as a feature. Because what it truly is for me is like one of the first teachings yoga gave to me. And it's even one of the reasons why I love Ashtanga yoga and why I love this setted sequences so much. Because we try always in our life to find excuses. We always try to find this kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do this, because we always try to find a way through obstacles and try to get like the most comfy way. And this is how our mind works. And this is completely okay and normal because we are used to that and we should do that to be alive. But if you really want to be on your most aligned level and you want to get to the essence of your being, I think it's really necessary for us as human beings to do stuff which is uncomfortable for us, and even to tap out of my comfort zone. Especially for me in my 20s, some people might know this. My first Instagram handle for my private account had something to do with like seek discomfort. And this is truly was some of my first yoga experience, even if I didn't claim it yoga back then. Because I think that we will always be short on time. We will always be really like find a lot of reasons why not to practice. We will always find a lot of excuses for what's not perfectly aligned at the moment. And we could do that. We could just say, okay, today is not that day. We should not do it. But what happens if we do? What happens if we, even if it's not perfect, we step on the mat, even if we feel sometimes stiff in the morning, we go out, and even if you don't practice the full primary series, or if you don't practice your full normal sequence, you align and you get into this somatic state of like being fully present, being fully in your body and really tuning in into your breath, tuning in into your body, and you start settling your mind. Think about the first Yoga Sutra, and I think it's about like settling your mind. And we forget about this really often, even as yoga teachers. I know that obviously we know all of this. We know that yoga should make our mind like be calm and we should like see through this illusion, but it's so much harder to actually do it when it comes to the point where you are not the person you give advice to, but you're the person who receives the advice from yourself. And you have to question yourself, do I tell myself the story? And again, this can just happen. This self-observing and the self-realization when you tap into the same place over and over again. So what would be, to come to a final conclusion, my solution if you say, I don't have time to practice? My solution would be just make your time. It sounds sometimes a bit rough, but I really stay with this. I try every day to get onto my mat. And there are some people who are saying, oh, I just do today pranayama, or I just do meditation. For me personally, it worked best when I do everyday asana. I'm like a really physical person. I'm really like, people would say I'm a lot of pitta and vata, or I really need to be grounded. I really need to get back into this body. For me, it's essential to, even if I'm like in a really tiny home, for example, here in Floripa, I live with a friend together. We have not a lot of space. And, I wanted to record a yoga class before here, and I don't have even space to film myself because it's so small. I have exactly this kind of space. But I do it. I do it anyways. Even if I can't go to the shala, I roll out the mat. It's like 2 by 1 meter, roundabout for most of us. And I practice my sun salutations. I practice what I really think is now necessary. And I don't like negotiate with myself. For me, this really changed a lot. And if I can make this happen, even if I'm on the airport, even if I'm in a hotel, even if I'm traveling, even if I maybe, and I don't say you should practice when you're super sick, obviously, or if you're injured, but if you feel like a bit sick, if you just feel maybe something which is discomfort, try. At least try to move. Try to get onto your mat. Try to see what you can do today to feel a bit better. Not to exhaust yourself fully, not to just do it because you have to, but because you want to explore, because you want to give yourself this space on the mat to really explore it. In my opinion, this is like a cure for a lot of things. And for me, it was at least like even the beginning of like changing this pattern of always trying to find comfort, always just listening to a voice in my mind which said, come on, you don't feel today too good. You can do it tomorrow. I think if we internalize this, we will find a place to practice, we will find a time to practice, and we will evenly just practice. The more often you do it, the better you get. The more often you do it, the easier it gets for you. With this said, thank you so much for listening. I hope there was some value in this short episode for you. If you wish more of this kind of episodes, please let me know in the comments on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can also send me always a DM on Instagram. It's yoga.marv. And I would love to get in touch with you. I would love to know more about even you. What kind of topics are interesting to you? Already interested in the whole topic of like maybe getting back into your practice because you have a kind of struggle to rebuild your self-practice. I wrote a free guide, a step guide, which is pretty easy. I mentioned already like this, never lose twice. This is one of the essential steps I used for myself to really rebuild my practice when I was teaching too much and practicing too less as a teacher. It's completely free. You find the link below in the description in the school community. If you want to check it out, feel free to do so. I would love to see you next time on this podcast. Namaste and goodbye.